So, xa sizawufunda izwi lethu, can we stand for the reading of the word? Sizawufunda kuHebrews 12, sizawufunda verse 1 to 3. Uthi, therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Verse 3, for consider him who endured such hostility from sinners against himself, lest you become weary and discouraged in your souls. You have not yet resisted to bloodshed, striving against sin, and you have forgotten, verse 5, forgotten the exhortation which speaks to you as to sons. So if focus here to mainly, we can sit down, thank you so much. If focus here to really equal verse 1 and 2. Kudala ke mfundisi, I think beseyiqalile kule series. Samamela seva, I think all of us sivile. Safundiswa kakhulu ngezinto that weighs us as abantu. But today, anaxesha ke to give abantu benefit who were not here mhlambi last week uba umfundisi ebesithini. But there's so many things obesithethile that are really ezisakhayo as ibandla. So I'm sure immediate team will also be uploading that recording so that you can listen for yourselves. But ayibasifunda apha ku verse 1. Verse 1, uthi, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. So just njela vesi, the cloud of witnesses. I think when we started, umfundisi explained that chapter 12 of Hebrews, uqala ngo therefore. So xa esithi therefore, usibuyisela back to the previous chapter, which is chapter 11 of Hebrews. And when you go through chapter 11 of Hebrews, if waka wayibukela wrestling wayilandela, but there's a hall of fame. All the people babe benzi wrestling kudala nabantu who have done big, achieved big things, baxhonywa phayana to be celebrated. So chapter 11 of Hebrews, that is the hall of fame for the faith. So all the giants of faith that we read about in the Bible, you see them chapter 11 of Hebrews. So chapter 12 ke ngokuthi therefore, that is connecting to what the writer has written chapter 11. So these giants of faith, by chapter 11, what are the things that they stood for? Just a quick example, if you look at Abel, I mean, Glonyaka, I'm sure we are declaring it as in unyaka wemali. Every other person noma apho uthetha ngemali. So if you look at Abel, if you look at the offering, Abel is the one that we need to look into. Right, that the person that we need to consider the things that he has done. So everything that we are going through, there is a giant chapter 11 that has been given to us to encourage us. The things as in this walk of faith, that we become encouraged. So also, these giants were not the perfect people. I haidwanga lonto leyo ungacingi that the persons who are written chapter 11, those are people who are portrayed as perfect, but there was something special ebayenzayo for them to feature in that hall of fame ye faith, even though their lives when they were living its salvation yabo, they were not perfect. So one of the things when you read up Since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witness. So firstly there, the cloud of witnesses, it refers us to those people back to chapter 11. So the writer uqokelele all the evidence of the things zababantu sithi giants of faith. We see chapter 12. But now is into that we must look into. Why is the writer giving us this information? When the Tina who are living today, we are encouraged by those who walked before us. Yes, namhlanje there are things that we are facing as the children of God. There are things similar to those that the giants of faith babehamba kuzo, esihamba kuzo nathi. But the writer is trying to bring us kwinto, do not be discouraged yindawo osifumanisa ukuyo. There is a person who walked le journey that you are walking today. And okwesibini, what the writer is trying to do, usinike perspective. Because sometimes I tend to dramatize. Even no one else has walked the journey in that endihamba ngoku. And no, the situation that you are in, the hardship that you are facing, the challenges that you are facing, the persecution that you are facing, the trials and the tribulations that you are facing, you are not the first person. And they are not more than the people that I have written about in chapter 11 of Hebrews. So we must be encouraged that yes, I am going through something. And also one thing I want to highlight, this does not mean that as we are living our salvation today, the things, the hardships that we are facing, no, that's not what the writer is saying here. But he's saying that do not quit because now you are facing a challenge. There is someone who has walked through that you are going through. So it's for us to be encouraged. It's for us to be strengthened. It's for us to keep our faith. Because the one thing that these people did as they were walking and walking their salvation was to keep the faith. Yes, they faced challenges, but they did not lose their faith. So now the writer, that challenges will come, tribulations will come, but do not lose your faith. Do not be swayed from your destiny because of the challenge that you are facing today. So it's not saying that the things esikuzo zincinci, but be encouraged that there's someone who has gone through. You know, if you are a person who's following the news, you look at what is happening now at KZN. There's a global warming that is wreaking havoc at KZN. Izindlu zabantu ezinhle, they are being destroyed. And ayonto that entsha kudala noma ngo2 years kwanyaka wesithathu ngoku that is happening in KZN. And these ndawo that are affluent, indawo eziduru onosicinga like your Umhlanga if you know KZN, your Zimbali if you know KZN. These are the places where people are being hard hit. And if you look at the houses that they are having, zizindlu zexabiso. But now izindlu zabo uba wawukhe wayidlala la game asithi fly a butterfly. Well, not confused nge game a soil mats uthi no. But now ngoku siyabona umhlaba uyamuva uyongena emanzini. Izindlu zabantu obucinga fana they are rock solid. They are being taken, ziyazimuvela ziyozingena emanzini, they are being destroyed. Nezinye ozijongileyo uyabona ba umfundisi bangalisa ukuthi they are drinking. So they are holding by a thread. So these houses are jinking. So it's just a matter of time that nazo ziwe. Isn't that not painful? It is. But is that reason for these people to quit their salvation? No, it's not. If you remember, even in our beautiful province, about 5 years ago, I think I was a wilderness. Abantu, they lost their lives. Is that reason enough? No, we are quitting. No, it's not reason enough. Because if you look at Hebrews chapter, if you look at your Bible, the giants of faith, you have Uyobi, you have Uyobi that you can look into. Uyobi lost everything that you can think of. Uqala ezinkomeni zakhe ukuze ezigusheni zakhe ukuze kwi-servants zakhe ukuze ebantwaneni bakhe. Everything that Uyobi owned, he lost it. And the sad part is that akayiluzanga mhlambi ngeveki ezisheyanayo. ngosuku oluyi-1. In fact, the Bible says while the messenger was giving a bad report, another one yayingena izonikeza another report. So if we are into 30 minutes, in that 30 minutes, uYobi lost everything that he owned on earth. But what did Yobi do? uYobi did not give up. uYobi did not quit. But uYobi stood up and then blessed the name of the Lord. And also it's very specific to say that uYobi did not sin in that instance. Kuyo yonke laa nto yayisenzeka, uYobi did not sin. Sizise kum nawe, in the season of loss, what do? Na unezinto that we have acquired, unabantwana onabo, unabazali, une-siblings. All these things we are not promised our last. When we are in that season, what do we do, Tina, as abantwana bakaKristu in this day and age? Tina usithini? Siyasuka Tina. We are quick to remove ourselves. In that I did not sign up for this one. That is us. Because now we feel that this is too much. And this chapter is bonusing that yes, you are going through this season, but there is a Yobi who walked through this season and conquered. There is a Yobi that you can read about and see what happened to Yobi after losing everything and also keeping his faith while in that season. You see that at the end, everything, even in greater numbers, it was restored. So we are trying to be encouraged that even though we face things, but God is for us in that season. You know, another famous one of the things that we will all relate to. I think most of us we've been through that journey where you really feel that there's unfairness towards you. That does not make it right. You know, I was listening to Pastor Jenkins, one of the people, because forced to work overtime 3 consecutive days in a week. And then he decided that, no, this is unfairness, so I'm quitting. And he's using very strong words for this person. This person is a fool. How can you make a permanent decision in a condition that is not permanent? So, yes, but look at Joseph. Joseph wayesendlini kaPotifa, accused of rape, ephayana ezisebenzela, wahamba wayentolongweni. Wathini zange ayilose faith yakhe. He kept his faith, and the Bible is very clear. uThixo wayenaye ngamaxesha onke. So yinto that we need to look into. That when we might be accused of things, nasemisebenzini singaphatheki kakuhle, but there is a person who has gone through that journey. There is a person who has conquered that war. So it is for us to look into that person. Sikwazi ukulandela the steps that person did. And one of the things that are very important is to keep the faith in all that thing. You know, when that thing that we're losing, some of us lose abazali, some of us lose siblings, some of us lose abantwana, we lose pregnancies, we lose colleagues, we lose all the beloved people that we know and love. But that is not reason for us to quit. In that we must look at people. See, as is wrong, that uThixo is able to heal, is able to give us what we need. Because uThixo who is a giver of life. That's what Job said. That God gave, now He has taken. So that it's an attitude that we must strive to. It's not easy. It's something that we need to work so that we can become ababantu uThixo afuna sibe ngabo. And this is the season. In-laws is a season. Ukungaphatheki kamnandi is a season. So we've been taught that this season, no being a last kangakanani, one thing we know for sure, it shall surely pass. It's a season that is a phase, it's a season esikuyo. And our God akasebenzi nge-chronological or time. uThixo akasebenzi ngexesha bangoku yisama, therefore kububuku isizini yewinter mandi kususe quickly to be in the summer season. No, God does not work like that. uThixo is supernatural, and therefore His timing is supernatural. So it is our faith that will make us enter into the new season. So that is why it is important that even when we go through seasons, we keep our faith. Because without faith, you will never change season. Because this season is not summer and winter in God. It is an exchange of situations. It is an exchange of circumstances. So if you do not have faith, you will never move to the next season of your life. So, yeah. And iyagqitha ke ngoku le Bible esifundayo ithi ku verse 2 ithi looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. You see, we have been given a cloud of witnesses. Abantu who have walked with God apha eBhayibhileni. But ke ngoku ithi let's move a step further, looking at God as the author and finisher of your faith. If you look at Jesus, what happened to him? Yena wapersecutwa. If he enjoyed with joy the race that was set before him. In the only that was set before him, it was my redemption and your redemption. He endured that process for me and you to regain ubomi obungunaphakade. It had nothing to do with him. But he had to come and endure all these things. It there is a level of compassion that we need to be at. Jesus showed us compassion. Ukuba yena wancama literally obakubomu. Wayeticelwa, wabetraywa, waphika, wabethwa. And you can see the final one was in nails at the cross. Zangajike. Wayenza, and the eyes zakhe were kept on the prize, which is ukukhulula mna nawe kumandla esono. So nathi, this is what this Bible is teaching us, that as we look into Jesus, this is the level of compassion that we need to have. Yes. We are people, we are facing things. And then that person could deny all the efforts that you have done. Jesus is your standard. Look at him. Jesus wapikwa. Jesus was betrayed. But why is the mission? It is accomplished. You know, the film Passion of Christ. If you watch that and you just imagine what was happening kuye. If you are in team, this is too much. Your people mabasbonele. But now what our eyes are fixed on the prize, and the prize, it is the redemption. Kukhulula umntu esonweni. So this is that we just need to for us to experience these things. I'm thinking, hey, who's busy like yourselves? Okay, fortunately we were the ones so I can make this example. So because you know, sometimes when we serve because we want people to clap for us. And we forget that, even not that I'm saying it's right, but we forget that people also, they are in their own race as well. So sometimes a person has noticed, but well done. But if we lose the mark because we had to wait. Why am I continuing to serve? That you are taking a weight upon yourself. You know, when there are three people, one of them, one we hug, and you feel that this person is the one that who is loved. But no, this person was being encouraged because she or he was at his or her lowest. That is why you see this person being hugged. Then the other one, and you think, oh wow, at least now you recognize you. But please do more, continue and do more. And then the one mna omnye uhagiwe omnye wanikwa ipet mna nothing is done kanti kuthi hayi wena you are okay uyayazi uyibambile lento you are running your race so we don't need to come and encourage but if you are not a person who is established in the Lord you can take a weight kulonto leyo into ethi bayabulelwa bonke ngaphandle kwam kanti you don't know that it's a weight that you are putting upon yourself and this verse continues to say let us lay down every weight so yintoni lento kuthiwa yi-weight what is a weight? So a weight is a hindrance, it is an impediment or something that slows us down and keep us from finishing the race that we are meant to run in the time set by God. So i-weight yiyo nayo nayiphi na into esenza singakwazi ubaleka senze wathi uThixo afuna siyenze ngexesha afuna siyenze ngayo. So xa sifunda ngelinye icala or it is something that is causing us not to hear the voice of the Lord. That thing ekwenza that or even ungabi namdla that you have lost your passion, you have lost your desire to hear the voice of the Lord. That is a weight. So i-weight isenza sibe dull spiritually. So yonke lanto ikwenza ungabi na interest in seeking the Lord, it is a weight. So i-weight is not necessarily a sin. Nesibambe lo ndawo because aba ithi laying down every weight and sin. So i-weight is not a sin, but it is something that needs to be dealt with. Because if asidili na i-weight, it can lead to a sin. So ithi lonto leyo umzekelo if we are kwezi companies they will talk about a weakness and a risk. So a weakness it is not a risk if you look at it. But if as we manage it can result to a risk. Let's take South Africa now as a country. Isithi South Africa inokuzakuzelwana namanye amazwe. So if there is a weakness ongakungaqini ekuzakuzaneleni kwethu nalamazwe or okanye weakness in our international engagements then into eyenzeke that is a weakness that can lead to a risk. Yintoni risk that we can get from there? If asinabudlelwane kakuhle asikwazi udlelana kakuhle namanye amazwe loo nto ithetha ukuthi iSouth Africa ise-riskini yoba ingaba isolated. ISouth Africa i-risk that i-economy yayo can be affected by the decisions ezenziwe ngamanye amazwe engahlobaniyo nabo ngayo because the laws that would be made azizuconsiderisha iSouth Africa. We have seen that. This is always my cry. You know, when you look at Zimbabwe today and you look at its former glory, Zimbabwe used to be a great nation, used to be a great country. But what is happening today, there was a weakness in their engagement that resulted into a risk, a materializer. And that is what will happen even in our country if we don't fix the weaknesses esinazo. That is sizawubona economy yethu iphela, sizawubona kusenyuka irate ye-poverty, sizawubona i-health system yethu collapse. Because of all these things that esingazijonganga. So naxa sijonga apha weight and sin, that's how we need to look into it. I-weight if asilungisi what is a weight, we will either lead to isono. If asikwazi ulungisa the things esithi zi-weight sizazibona si-entangled esonweni. So i-weight is different for each and every person of us. So besitshilo ayisosono but if asilungisi izawuba sisono izasileader to isono and ke ngoku my weight and your weight are not the same. So when we say iBhayibhile also ithi ke ngoku set aside every weight. So what is it that we do when we are setting aside every weight? As we said that a weight is different for each and every person. So in order for us to run the race that is set before us, we need to lay down all the weights. And athletes, when a trainer comes and says, athletes, I think all of us, so that was the athletes, manyan, not only in the spirit. Athlete, we athlete. So, athlete, is nika ubunzima by exercise. So it gives itself, okanye himself or herself, a weight. xa exercise. But the weight that the athlete is giving himself is for a specific purpose. The athlete yenza la weight for them to gain strength and also to gain amandla for him to train and elungiselela le race that azayibaleka. But on the day when the athlete is participating in the actual rate, it takes all of the weight. It lays aside every weight. Even umntu oyi-athlete ofila into yoba ufuna uluza umzimba unxiba iimpahla ezininzi. But engalamini ye-race uyazisusa impahla because akafuni into ezamsinda. Ufuna ususa all the things ezizi-weights azokwazi ubaleka because the prize, the inner focus yakhe is on the prize. So this is what we need to do. Yes, there are weights that we need to weigh off. There are weights that we need to gain. That weights that are spiritual that we need to gain. So what does it mean, laying aside all the weight? So the word lay aside is taken from a Greek word, which is a compound of two words. Uopo means away, and utitim, to place or lay something down. So when we compound these two words, it's niku opotitim, which signifies a person who is laying something down. From there, iti akayibeki nje down, uyibeka far away from him, far beyond his reach. That is what this laying aside. It means that there is an attitude of being intentional in taking away this weight. There is a deliberate decision that we need to take for this weight to go away. So, yesterday, when Mamele Apostle Musika, one of the things that blessed me is your commitment yake ku devotions. And you think that yes, siyathetha apha ekhaya nge-devotions. You think that hayi noko mhlawumbi xa ngumpostile in that level, neentsuku akaqoma late, let me drive ndingayenzi devotions. Get this other day, uvuke late, but uvuke late, and he had to prepare. He had to write a sermon. He had to drive, prepare and drive to a workshop, a conference I attend. But the time was not enough for all these things. So instead of saying ndiyaziyeka devotions and do all the other things, uqale nge-devotions and compressed all these other things kwixesha elishiyekileyo. And this thing ayenzeki like nje naturally. Because he took a decision that is bringing himself towards himself, that I will make my decision every day, irregardless of what kwenzeka ntoni ebomini bam. So this is the commitment that we need to have for us to take away weights. Because but if you are deliberate about it, it's something that every day you are telling yourself that this thing I am not going to do. And if there is a competition between you taking the weight and being glorified, and also uThixo are glorified, you choose God to be glorified, that you lay down your weight. If your ego has to be bruised or your pride has to be bruised, choose that your integrity must suffer. Ungabuyeli to the things othi uziyekile. So it's a decision that we need to take and be deliberate about it. So what are the things that are weights? I think everyone who's abanezakhe bazintoni weights, zintoni ezi zinto zikwenza ungenzi umsebenzi kaThixo ngalendlela afuna uwenze ngayo ngexesha ofuna uyenze ngalo. And sigcina into ethi ayisosono. So that means ayonto kuthiwa is in contravention mhlambi nomthetho kaThixo, but it is something ethi iyandidelaya mna in reaching my godly purpose, this thing. So one of the things that you can think of, if you are a person who is watching TV kakhulu, that could be your weight. Your weight is different to each and every one of us. Okay. So, umzekelo, bendikhe ndafunda something and it got me thinking. If you are a person and if bendinoba nento ethile, ubomi bam bebunoba impactful. If bendinoba nento ethile, ndingaba happier ebomini. If ndingaba nento ethile, then I can live a life of purpose. So if lena ndithi into ethile, all those things ezingena phayana, those are potentially your weights. If I can get a job that pays a certain amount, that is potentially my weight. If ndingane Lamborghini, then I'll be impactful ebomini. That is potentially my weight. I saw sono, it's a desire. I saw sono to desire all these good things. I saw sono. But the minute ziphazamisa umsebenzi kaThixo, they become a weight because they are slowing us down from achieving what God has set before us. So it's things that we need to be very conscious and very honest with ourselves, because it needs you to be honest with yourself. But what is it that really wastes my time? What is it that really indents and distracts to hear the voice of the Lord? You know, there was a season, I think Nandi Sharon no matter, there was a season I was watching movies kakul. I stopped because even though Nancy Tikala, then I will wake up and do devotions. There is an impact as the end. I'm not talking that generally, it's that, but there was something that it was doing. So I had to but this thing therefore I must lay it aside. So each and every person, you must be honest, but you don't learn that I'm struggling with. But you could delay in achieving your godly purpose. We ACT conference, we were so blessed. Sasafika endlini, sahlala ebhedini. Ndizobabisa ngabantu andihleli nabo. Sabuka ilantuka ifoto googling. Kwakukho this CEO yase Mashunduka Holdings. It's a prominent business person, wayeноnkosikazi wakhe. So back with business sphere, back with construction and all these things, and they are doing great things in that area. And the way that they are so humble, the way that they are obeying their leaders, the way that they are serving the Lord, it got us thinking. Yes, these people, they are pursuing their desires, but upursuing desires abo azibenzi basuke from the perfect plan of God. So that is what we need to do. There's nothing wrong to have desires, but once our desires they become the ultimate, then it is wrong because it stands in the way of God. So we were really blessed with those people. Uthi la CFO ebene meeting on the day kwakuse conference ne presidents. Uthi wathumelela umpastor wakhe wathi, "Hey pastor, I don't think I will make it to the conference because I have this engagement in a president's." They are discussing big things that infrastructure yase Pretoria has to be efuneka yenziwe. It's big things in the country. It's big money coming to your pocket. But uthi upastor wakhe wamblutika akamphendula. I knew, even though I knew what he was saying. I called the presidents and I said, "I'm sorry, we have to reschedule." And at the time, after a conference, holiday. So it meant that a meeting the presidents will take place in 2024. Because of your obedience, no. I am choosing this. I am positioning myself to be led. So this is one of the things that really we have achieved things. Because when you have arrived to level, no, this person is not worthy to lead me. But if you position yourself to be led, then it's not becoming a weight in doyako of achievement. In doyako of achieving your desires, I be waiting because we are even more now that you have achieved things. And this issue of finance, asizungena nongena kuyo. Umfundisi usifundise kakhulu the past 2 weeks. about how to handle our finances, because that is one of the weights as well. If you have big money, it can be a weight. If you don't have money, it can be a weight. So it's something that we really need to guard ourselves when it comes to it. And I think just one thing and we highlight, as we have been given this task that by April there must be a change in our finances. Into abuthi ngoku ndiyahlala ndenza ibudget and you never consult your budget throughout the year, you are good as not having one. So it's something that we really need to take serious, the management of our finances. When he was the first day, that week, I was struggling like that week. Hey, I want to buy this thing for myself. And I have the money of buying this thing. I have the money of buying this thing. But when I look into this thing, it's not a need, it's a want. And I had all the encouragement in the world that I need this thing, it's good for me. I've been looking for it. But this is a want, not a need. So I was like, okay, let me share this to my husband. So I want to buy this thing, man, for myself. And man, this year, I really deserve it. Motivating this thing. And then the way I want to, really, like, I was like, you don't understand. No, I do understand, but tell me, what is the benefit of the lentos I take? I need to say but what is the benefit? So I was like, okay, let me delay. Now, if I get go online, it's coming soon. It's coming. That Friday, I'll preach on Sunday. I made a decision, but this, and I decided, let me just stop this thing, because really it's not a need, but I'm delaying it. Later on. So when Umfundis was preaching, I was like, maybe I'm one of those people, because really I did not need this thing, but I wanted to buy it. And even though I'm saying I had the money, savings, then what if an emergency comes? Then I don't have. So it's things that we really need to consider as izinto. So for me, that Sunday was the final nail in the coffin. This other lady, Ute, and I think I like that phrase, Ute, the encounter without transformation is a waste of time. So is the good word without implementation. So all the things that if we don't put them to use, it is a waste of time. So we've wasted our Sunday to come and listen if we are not going to implement. So any yezinto that are becoming weights, it's the company that we keep. Some of us, for us to progress, because ububomi be Christianity, ayibobomi be perfection, bubomi be progress. So for us to progress to the next level, we just need to change people that we are relating with. Because the people as they relate, but they are not taking us to the God-given purpose. If you look in the Bible, Samson, what no Delilah, wasuswa mehlo. That means the vision was taken away from him. No Delilah. Some of the people that we walk with, they are taking away the vision from us. So it's a weight. They are a weight in us. So we need to consider in relationships esikuso. Judges chapter 16 ungasifumana story sika Samson uzokwazi usifundela. And then I think in just as I the other weight is doubt. Doubt is not a sin, but it is a weight. Because once you doubt, you are unable to move forward. So if ufunda story sika Elijah, go First Kings, uzambona Elijah that he did so many good things. Once izinto ezinkulu esenzela ubawo okanye ubawo ezenza through him ubomi buka Elijah. But ude ubone intoni kuthiwa yi-mount intoni kanani? Ayibona andibhalanga na apha. Oh, Mount Carmel, yes. When he was there, proclaim igama lika Yesu kulapho wayesithi kwi-prophets of Baal Why are you wavering between two opinions? If Baal is Baal, serve Baal. If God is God, choose Baal. So at that time, that was him evakalisa igama likaBawo to the prophets of Baal. And xa ufunda phaa esa story, ithi Elijah killed the prophets of Baal because wathi kubo mabenze babize uThixo wabo. Ubagalela amanzi zange uvutha umlilo wakhe wavutha wakhe wathi wavutha wathi bonke mabahambe babanjwe wababulala phayana zafa prophets of Baal. But wathi uJezebel awuthi uzambulala, Elijah doubted the promises of God. Elijah became afraid. Elijah did not believe that God could protect him from uJezebel. So wabaleka wahamba wozifihla kwi-cave. That is one of the things that makes us not to achieve or to progress in the promises of God. It's doubt. And the doubting akwenza ungafike nofika to the promise of God. And one of the things esenza sibe ne-doubt, i-doubt must lead kwinto yoba sisoyike. So laa nto yenziwa yinto ethi we do not know the scriptures. That's one of the things. Matthew 22, verse 29, uthi, Jesus answered and said to them, you are mistaken, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God. So if we do not know uba izwi likaBawo lithini ngathi, we are taking a weight upon ourselves because asimazi uThixo uba uzawuse angasenzela ntoni. So we don't even know how to trust God kwizinto esihamba kuzo because we are doubting that uThixo uyakwazi usenzela ezi zinto sicinga fanuba siyazifuna okanye usikhupha kwezi ngxaki sizibona sikuzo. So one thing I want to say is that whatever that we do, let us not doubt the faithfulness of God ezimpilweni zethu because izawusenza singakwazi ukugqitha to the level uThixo afuna siye kuyo. And also Elijah, one of the mistakes zakhe kukuzicingela highly of himself. Wathi babulawe bonke prophets except me. So that's one of the things that siyenze because we are moving. Sicinga fanuba sithi we are doing it ngamandla ethu ngokwe-strength sethu okanye sithi we are doing these things. Wathi awukwenza loo nto leyo wathi uThixo, so from today I am giving you a mandate, go and anoint a person who will replace you. So these are the things ezenza sikhathe izinto oba singafiki kwi-destiny yethu because we are thinking highly of ourselves and it is a weight that we are taking. But what can we do? Shortly, because ixesha lethu liphelile asizuzenza ezinye weights. Yintoni that we can do for us to weigh down these weights? We did say that it's an intentional change in certain behavior or attitudes that we have. So we need to be intentional in changing those things. Or we need to be deliberate about how are we moving away from those behaviors. Number 2, it's a consecration. So consecration is you are separating yourself. As we said that weight is different for each and every person. Even a consecration, because this is not a sin. Because to a particular person. And as on that person is sinning. Because you have taken a decision to consecrate yourself. It means and therefore there are things that he is expecting from you. Or things that he is not expecting to see from you. And some of these things, we may think that this is foolish. But so we must make a decision to separate ourselves for God to use us in order to advance the race that Daniel, in the Bible, is one of the best examples. Babekwe foreign country, but they kept themselves pure. They did not defile themselves. And Agukom who said that to them. It is a decision that they have taken for themselves. So consecration, it's you separating yourself. And then you obey and separate yourself. So it's something that we learn to do, that we separate ourselves. That is, we are consecrating ourselves. We refuse to be defiled because the other year, I think for 6 months. So God said to me, I must pay a tithe kumali yami ye-UIF. I was like, hayi bobawo, kaloku xa ndibhatala ishumi mos is included yonke le nto. So xa isiza i-UIF, it's my money. But like, pay a tithe kule mali. And then we're looking in it and there's a lot that we need to do. But I decided, let me obey. I paid monthly, like the first time I paid my UIF. The UIF 10% of my money. Sometimes you don't even understand yourself. But what is key is obedience. So I did that, not knowing. And when I got the job after that, I was like, wow, God. So and even the timing of getting that job, even my own mother, biological mother, and I was like, God said, January, I'm working. Good December, and I'm sebenzi. God said, ndizawuphangela. Good December ngoku. Andfonela. Ubuthe ngoJanuary yaphangela. Sisi ngoDecember ngoku. And I'm like, don't worry, I'm covered. 14th of December, I got an appointment letter that ndiqeshiwe. So uThixo nje is faithful. Uyakwazi ukuthi xa uobeya akwenzise ezi zinto. But if I refused ndacinga bafana le mali hayi Thixo bendikunikile u10%, ndinglibele into ethi God does not need my money. Into ayifunayo is the obedience of my heart. So zezi zinto zisenza sibe nee-weights singakwazi uprogressa because we are refusing uThixo makathethe nathi. So this is that we really need to set ourselves separate. Because xa uyijonga ibu stupid nyani xa uyicinga imzathi hayi ayikho le nto yenzayo udlala ngemali okanye whatever God said to you. But ubuyazi God said to me, therefore I'm going to do it. And nobuthi xa ngathi kovuka every day uyokhi oranges. If that's what God said to you, you do that. Abantu, they will see it as stupidity, but this is what God said, and God will reward you. God will take off something from you. Because for me, dependence on myself was taken away. Now I do not worry about ezinye izinto because I know I'm covered. I don't worry about ezinye izinto because I know God is in my corner. And this is that God teaches you when you uvuma to be separated from ezinye izinto. So I really would like to encourage us that as we continue nale series, let us apply the things that esizivayo from eli lizwe of weighing aside weights. Because the weights ziyasibamba manyani. Luke 17 verse 32, uthi remember Lot's wife. Unkosikazi kaLothe wayethathiwe wakhutshwa eSodom, but wajika wajo ngemva, wajika wasisimo setyiwa. So today, I just want to warn us that yes, u-2023 wenzekile. Izinto zenzekile kuthi ku-2023. But masingajongi emva. Let us be intentional in taking the weights that are upon our shoulders so that we can run the race looking at Christ Jesus as the author and the finisher of our faith. So what is it that we need to do? Prayer is one of the things that we need to devote kuzo. Because without prayer, you cannot lift the weights. Without reading of the word, you cannot lift the weights. Because even the scripture said we do not receive these things because as sazi isibhalo sithini, or we don't know the power of God. So for some of the words to be taken away, we must be the people of the word. Fellowship is one of the things that we need to do in this season and dedicate ourselves. Because as in fellowship, when people are sharing the things that they are going through, when people are telling you how they have managed to overcome some things, then you start to get encouraged. Ukwazi move to the level that uThixo akusa kuyo, being accountable to the brethren. Zezinye zezinto ezikwazi ususiweight kuthi. But if we refuse, sijonge emva uba u2023 besimphile njani, sizaba sisimo setyiwa because noba ixesha liyahamba, thina we will remain in where we were ngo2023 because we know that uThixo akasikhuphi athi ngo2023 yena. There has to be faith in you that you are moving to the other level of your life. So if we don't have that, then it means we cannot move, Tina, to that level. So I would really like to encourage us that we must be people who are devoted. So can we just close our eyes and pray?